Good morning, everyone. I've made my way around and I've tried to embrace as many of you as I could because I wanted to make sure that you're awake. It's Saturday morning and we're up, all right? So we are going to share some great stuff with you today. I'm excited just to be in the room. The buzz that all of you have and the poetry that we just heard, it makes me feel better. I'm excited about what the future holds for you. And because you all have great futures, I have a greater future. So thank you very much for coming today. We're excited. So we're going to jump into this empowerment conference. But before we do, we are going to just take a few moments to remember those of breast cancer. There was a poster out front, and you all were asked to bring a picture of someone who had breast cancer and they're no longer with us, or if they currently have breast cancer, we're just going to honor them. And I wanted to just share a few thoughts on that. I don't believe that we need a month. October is the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Personally, a month is not enough time to bring awareness to us. And there are some of you that are sitting here today, you are reminded daily. It's either a mother, a sister, an auntie, a cousin, someone you know has been afflicted with breast cancer. So we want to remember them on today. I do believe that we need to set aside time to remember those and honor their time with us and say thank you. Yes. Sure, that's wonderful. If you have someone in your family that has been impacted with breast cancer, would you please just call out their name, sister, mother, cousin, auntie?
My great aunt, as well as my cousin.
Thank you. Patricia?
My grandma.
Grandma?
My mother.
Mother?
My
Aunt?
Aunt Juanita.
Aunt Juanita?
Mother Mary, Grandmother Mary.
Grandmother Mary?
My aunt, godmom.
Her aunt and godmom?
My aunt. My aunt.
My two friends, Cleana and Tanya.
Thank you.
My aunt Erlene.
Thank you.
My aunt and my two good friends.
Aunt and two good friends. Anyone else? Stepmom and my sister Linda. There's another one over here.
Mother-in-law and sister.
Mother-in-law and sister.
I lost my friend Isabel last week.
She lost her friend just last week, Isabel.
My grandmother.
Her grandmother
I just lost my aunt like last week.
just lost her aunt last week. Anyone else? So you see, we do need time to take and honor and remember those individuals because they brought great energy to our lives, and we want to remember that. We never want to forget. So they set the month of October aside, not just to remember and acknowledge those individuals, but it's a great time for fundraising. They need us. And what are some of the things that we can do to help support that? Is you can just donate your time to someone who is in that difficult situation in their life, or you can donate 1 cup, the cost of 1 cup of Starbucks coffee a week to the National Research to End Breast Cancer. And it is believed by the year of 2050 that with all the research we have today, that we can beat this. And this will impact all of us as women. So remember, you want to contribute and help the research to go on. So let's just take a few seconds and let's just sit in silence, remembering those individuals. Please join me in this time. So thank you for joining me in those few moments. So my name is Dr. Kathy James. I am here to serve you today, and I've tried to talk to all of you to make sure that you're awake and you're alert and you're ready. And I understand that they're going to be passing out tickets based on how you participate during the session. So you'll enjoy this, and all of you should be able to get lots of tickets. These baskets are beautiful, so we're excited to go on this journey together. I'm going to ask my team if they would start passing out a pen and a piece of paper. Okay. You have what? Oh, no. This is my activity. Oh, I love students that are ready. Thank you. Kimmy, can you help them? So don't work ahead of me. If you'll just hold on, I'm going to take you on a journey here because we want to make sure. I thank the committee and Miss Jackie Mathis for the invitation today. I am excited, like I said earlier, because I know that there are great things coming for each and every one of you. But we kind of want to set our playing field today of some expectations, not only from the committee, and this is beautiful. They have provided everything. They've thought of everything for you today. Great coffee, wonderful refreshments. Everything in your packet has been provided to you today to succeed. So what is it that we need from you to guarantee that you succeed? And I want to thank the dean who came ahead of me and had remarks. I mean, she set the tone for me, and it's wonderful. I want you to leave everything out today. If you have kids at home, they're taken care of. Let's not worry about them. If you need to worry about dinner or a date tonight, don't worry about anything but today in succeeding and getting the information that's been set just for you. So everyone should have a pen and a sheet of paper. And I want to talk to you for just a moment so that we can set what your day will look like today. Your brain works in a certain way. How many of you are aware of that? Your brain works a certain way. And your brain needs a conclusion before it can join you on the journey. Sometimes you sit and you're just kind of thinking and not doing anything because you don't want to. But today we want you to. And because your brain needs a conclusion in order to act, I want to ask each of you today, what conclusions are you drawing about yourself or other situations in your life? What is a conclusion is, I'm going to give you an example. My conclusion is people don't believe I'm capable of what? In your mind? What is something that people said you won't be able to do? Or maybe people didn't say it. Maybe you've told yourself based on some past behaviors. So what is the conclusion that you're working off of every single day? I won't be able to do it, or I will be able to do it. Once you've given your brain a conclusion, and I'm going to use, people believe that I'm not capable of graduating from college. People aren't supporting you. They're not there for you. That's your evidence. Every day you have to get up and you have to do what it is that you were designed to do, what you're gifted to do, and there's no one supporting you. That's the evidence that you come up with. So if you see how the brain works, you have a conclusion. So very quickly, I want you to write down something in your life that you've been struggling with that you believe that you can do or not do, or someone said that you can't do. And then once you write that conclusion, I want you to give yourself the evidence. Why is it that you believe that? Why is it you believe what you believe? Has someone told you that you couldn't do it, or have you told yourself? Have you seen other people fail at doing it, and so you're afraid to do it? That's the evidence that you're giving to your brain to support your conclusion. And what's really interesting about how the brain works, once you have the conclusion and the evidence, you begin to act on it. Because your brain is going to act based on what you've told it you can or can't do. So today I said, people don't believe I'm capable of graduating from college. My evidence is they don't help me, they don't encourage me. So what is it that I do when I feel like that? I don't ask for help. And I will show them what I can do. So now you're acting out your behaviors. And other people act out their behavior by saying, she doesn't want any help. Or I don't want to offend her by asking her if she needs help. So you have to be aware today. What is your conclusion about today? What are you expecting from today? We've provided everything you need to be successful. But what is your conclusion about it? What evidence of proof do you have, and how are you acting? It's really interesting when you're talking to friends or you're in environments, you act out a certain way and you wonder, why did she look at me like that? Why are they acting like that? Go back to your conclusion. What is it that you started out with? Oh, you know what? I didn't even speak to her, so she's not speaking to me. To change our behavior, and today it's all about you. Taking care of you. So you know what I'm now going to do with that conclusion? I'm going to say, hello, how are you? hi, how are you? Based on my behaviors, people will act differently. The energy that you put off in a situation is what's going to drive your outcome. You can turn things around with your basic conclusion. Does everyone understand that? So today, we want you to set your conclusion to be successful. What is the evidence of proof? We've provided you everything that you need. How am I going to act? Receptive, excited, appreciative for the things that have been provided to me. And then how will other people act? The leaders, the volunteers, the community will embrace you. They will help you. They will support you because our goal is to see you successful. Okay? Has everyone got their paper of conclusions? Now I'm going to ask you one more thing. If the team would take these cards and pass these out. Every one of us has a quality of being. Quality of being comes from what you believe in your mind, what you believe in your heart. Behaviors that you've been taught is how you live your everyday life. And it's really important for you to recognize how you show up. So don't circle anything yet. Hold on to it. And I'm going to walk you through an exercise. And this is where I need you to participate to really believe in another way that supports you. Scientifically, we've been designed to have all of these 23 qualities of being. But if you're really going to show up as your best self, if you're really going to come to the table saying, here I am, I'm ready to play. So what we're going to do today from 9 o'clock till 4:30, we're all going to play together. But what we need to know and determine is, how are you going to show up? You can only, listen carefully, you can only be 5 of these qualities of beings at one time. So I'm going to ask you a question today, and the operative word is willing. And is, who are you willing to be today in order to have an extraordinary outcome of this day? Who are you willing to be? Who are you willing to show up as? I'm going to ask you to circle 5 of these, only 5, and think about it because it's important. It's who you're going to be today. Everyone is circling 5. Who are you willing to be? You're going to get challenged today. You're going to have to go through different exercises. We're asking you to meet each other, embrace one another, support one another. Who are you willing to show up as? Everyone got their 5? Let me see your hands when you got it. Okay, we got a few people thinking of who they want to be today. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the rest of this exercise, and the answer to the questions has to be a yes. If you say no, then we're going to ask you to, as you go through the day, think about how your mind or your conclusions have been set that don't support you or serve you well. So who are you willing to be to have an extraordinary outcome out of the day? For me to share with you all today, I am willing to be clear, present, empowering, enthusiastic, and open. Share with the person next to you the 5 things that you're willing to be today. Great, thank you very much. My next question is, are you willing? Remember the word willing. Are you willing to systematically dismantle your structure of knowing? What that means is, are you willing to take a deeper look at the thoughts and what you believe and see if there's another way? See if there's just another way. It's like taking an onion and peeling back the skin. And when you get to the onion, that's the onion. But you can't eat the onion with the skin just like it is. You've got to peel it back and see if there's something underneath. Maybe there were some behaviors. Maybe there was something that you were taught, and it's not serving you well. So my question is, are you willing to systematically dismantle your structure of knowing? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Are you willing to be a demand for coaching? What that means is life is trying to teach you some things. Are you willing to be a demand for coaching? Yes. Because if you fight what life is trying to bring to you or what's happening in your life, it makes your struggle a lot more difficult and challenging. So then the last question is, are you willing to guarantee that whoever or whatever is attempting to coach you, that they will be successful? Yes. Are you willing to guarantee that whoever or whatever tries to coach you, that they will be successful? Yes. It means I'm not going to fight anymore. It means I'm going to find another way to get through the challenges of what I have to get through to be successful. And that is finishing my education, going to school, getting a career, whatever your goals and aspirations are. Don't fight it. Go through the process and be successful. Everyone got that? Mm-hmm. Great. I think everyone should get a ticket on that one, Jackie. They all participated, right? Lift your hands if you agree. All right, another ticket. So thank you for participating with me on those exercises, and they're really important to you for the rest of the day. And I'm going to ask you during the day if you will take a time when you kind of feel like, oh, I'm getting tired, I'm getting exhausted. Take a look at your card and say who you were willing to be. I'm going to be present. I'm going to stay focused so I can get the best out of today. So I'm going to ask you to join me on a journey. When all of you arrived, and a few moments ago we passed out a pen, I want you to take that pen and look at it. There's some writing on that pen, and the pen says, write the next line. Does everyone have that? You see that? Write the next line. My book that I have that all of you will receive today at the end of the day, Finally No More Excuses. It's a book and a workbook. They are gifting that to each of you. Enjoy it. It's a great read, and it's a great resource to use to start changing some of the behaviors and ideas in our life based on our own life experiences, where you've come from. And I share my story in the book. I was raised by a big mama. And anyone know what a big mama is? I hear some laughs. You guys know what a big mama is? Aren't they wonderful? Yeah. They can talk to us in places that no one else can. They can love us deeper than people that we would expect to love us in ways that they're not. So if you don't have a big mama in your life, you find a big mama, because they're amazing. Huh? She said, are they like Medea? Well, are you talking about Tyler Perry's Medea? Well, yeah, Big Mama can go there too. Big Mama will take care of you and protect you. So I want to take you on a journey of writing the next line. And by the end of my time with you, I want you to walk away feeling empowered. I want you to take your place of greatness. Understand that there is so much for you, but you have to be willing to stand up and walk in it. I'm not going to show you stats and charts about what other people say about you or what they believe. But what I am going to do is to show you how you can be successful. You can reach every goal that you set for yourself. I want you to believe that life can change, and it changed because you get involved. And my motto is, a changed woman changes the world. I'm not looking for the hundreds, I'm looking for the one. Because I know if we impact one, that one will impact someone else. And that is how we change the world. When you go to the grocery store and you say thank you, you're making a change. Wherever you go, when you smile and say hello to people, you are making a change. So one woman at a time, I'm looking for just the one. So if you're ready, I'm going to ask you to join me on this journey. The story started over 63 years ago. Born into the home of a woman, no husband, children of different fathers, and a live-in lover. Lightning struck. The center of her life, her lifeline, was gone. One would hope that there would be peace after the storm, but instead a tsunami was on the horizon. A short car ride on an old dirt country road began a new chapter in her life. Thrown in the dirt, rejected as the car sped away. This began a whirlwind of unfortunate events in her life. The feelings of abandonment and rejection was her comfortable go-to space. She landed in the arms of an uneducated housewife with a house full of kids and grandkids, not enough money, 5 kids to a bed, and a kitchen stove for her heater. Free government cheese, potted canned meat, free community parties for the poor, a plastic Christmas stocking with an orange, apple, and a peppermint candy cane was her Christmas gift every year. Fighting became her language of choice, even sampling drugs and alcohol of her day. The book wide open and chapters unwritten, she picks up her pen and she writes the next line. I stand before you today, this pen in my hand, ready to write the next chapter of my life. I encourage each of you today, prepare yourselves to write the next line for the chapter in your life. Don't give your pen to anyone else to write a chapter of your life. You say to me, Dr. James, that is so hard to do. And I say to each of you, I know your eyes are burning with tears and your vision is blurred. I know there are people that are blocking your view. And I also know that you have pain from your past. I even know that you have writer's block. But trust me, I know all the challenges and hurdles that you see. I was the little girl that was dropped in the dirt while the car sped away. Allow me to help you write the next line on your journey. See, when lightning struck and my mother died at the age of 22, leaving 4 kids under the age of 5, a very unfortunate death. She died way too soon. My life was on a runaway train, screeching brakes, and there was no conductor. I say to each of you, yes, life happens. It really does. And I know that you're going to suffer hurt, pains, and you are also going to suffer disappointment. It's true, people will hurt you. People will hurt you, but that's not a reason to close the door. It's a reason to pick up the pen and write your next line. You will be rejected and you will feel abandonment, but you will pick up your pen and write the next line. No brakes on the train, it's out of control, no one on the lookout. So I delved back into my past and I began to live what I felt, rejected and abandoned and thrown away. I was headed on a disastrous train wreck and taking as many people with me as I could. The late Dr. Maya Angelou experienced some of the similar pending train wrecks in her life. At the age of 3, she and her brother were put on a train with a note pinned to her dress that read they were to be dropped off at her grandmother's house in the South. All alone, 3 and 5 years of age, put on a train because their mother couldn't handle the responsibility. They traveled from train station to train station with a note pinned on her dress. She arrived at her destination, and at the age of 7, she was raped. It was then that she decided to stop talking and became a mute for 6 years. She lost her voice for fear at the power of her voice. Her grandmother and relatives could not tolerate the silence that Maya Angelou lived in, so they shipped her off to her other grandmother's house. Her grandmother loved her dearly. Upon her arrival, her grandmother gave her a tablet and a number 2 pencil and told her to write everything out that she needed to communicate for her needs. Little Maya was met by a woman who loved books. This woman presented her with a book and took her to the library. Maya Angelou lived at the library. She read every book that she could read. She would rather read than to eat, but she refused to talk. She would write letters and poetry every day, and thank you for that beautiful poetry that she shared with us today. One day, the reading lady told her, "There is no way that you could love poetry." And Maya Angelou said she looked up at her and thought in her own mind, she doesn't know I do love poetry. But the woman shared with her, if you really love poetry, it must flow from your tongue. You must hear it. You must feel it like you did when you shared with us. And I would have loved to have heard that in your rambunctious, loud voice to resonate through who we are. So Maya Angelou thought to herself, I love poetry. So that next morning she got up and she crawled under her grandmother's house where the chickens lived. And it was there she spoke to herself and she began to say her poetry across her tongue. It felt different. She believed it. From that day forward, she began to speak. She found her voice and she spoke for 77 years after that. That was the day that Maya Angelou wrote the next line. At the age of 17, she stood in San Francisco, California, in front of the United Nations building. She cried as she looked at the building, and she knew that inside that building were world dignitaries, presidents, where decisions were made. But as she stood there, 6 feet tall, black, uneducated, pregnant, she said to herself, I will never be allowed in that building. It wasn't for her. But would you imagine with me what she felt like 50 years later when she was invited back to that same building? She walked in and she delivered her own words written with her pen. She read to the leaders and she shared with dignitaries and presidents what she wrote with her pen. You have that same opportunity today. You can write the next line. Maya Angelou's mother told her that she was the wisest and smartest woman that she ever met. And with that, Maya Angelou believed those words. Possibilities for Dr. Maya Angelou were just endless. She was all around the world, and she impacted everyone everywhere she went. Powerful words. And what she left with us, and I say to you today, your words have life. Your words have life. The conclusion that you make is your life. Decide today who you want to be, what you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to go. It is yours just for the possibility of asking and doing the work to get there. She said to us, we should do our best and live what we say we will do. Whatever it is that you say that you're going to do, do it. Commit to it. Be willing to do the work. She also said that we should live our life in a way that we would not regret it or that life would be wasted. Don't waste today's opportunity. Take in everything that you can because it will carry you a long way. Write the next line for your life. Maya Angelou picked up her pen and she wrote the next line. She wrote 30 books. She was fluent in 5 languages. She was sought after by kings and queens, presidents from all over the world. She had over 50 honorary degrees. Her most notable work was I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And for those of you, if you haven't read it, I would leave here today and I would go look it up. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. People paid her their hard-earned money. They waited in line for hours just to hear what Maya Angelou wrote with her pen. She reminds us again, and I remind each of you today, your words are powerful. Your words bring life or death. And you're here today because we are infusing life into you. Don't allow people to say anything in your presence. When people say things that are mean and nasty and hateful about other people or situations, stop them in your presence and say, not today. I don't want to be a part of what's hurtful and painful to other people. I want to bring life into people. I am the one who wants to be the change. Condoleezza Rice was United States Secretary of State. She said that we should welcome the opinion of others, but not uninformed ones. When people breathe into your life, you need to know to make sure that what they are providing to you is correct and that it is good. If people bring you negative information, something that doesn't serve you well, throw it away. Only take informed decisions when you write the next line. Words are things that we should measure. We should measure the power of our words. So I challenge you today as we spend the rest of the day together that you would listen to what you sound like when you talk. Listen to your words. What are you saying? What is the impact of your words after you turn and walk away? Do they bring life or do they bring death? What are the meaning of the words that you talk? When you say something, look at someone in the face and then watch their facial expression for a reaction. And if you're not getting that positive energy back, ask yourself, what did I just say that made them look like that? Are they challenged? Did I offend them? Your words are powerful. So as you write the next line of your life, understand that you are going to bring about change through your words. What changes are you making today with your words? I challenge each of you today, pick up your pen and write the next line. And when you write it, remember, I want informed decisions. I want informed information. I don't want things that are not going to serve me. A lot of us have already had so many challenges in our life that we are struggling with trying to jump over those hurdles or walk through the challenges. It's an easy fix, and I say that cautiously because we have to live through them. But when I say it's an easy fix, when you set your playing field today and you said, this is how I'm going to play, if you do that every single day, every challenge that comes up to you, you can go back and say, oh, I said I was going to be open. I said that I was going to embrace this. I was going to be encouraging. I was going to be present. So when the challenge comes, embrace it with who you are in the moment. Don't go back and rely on past behaviors to support you. They haven't been good for you. They haven't been in your best interest. So don't take them along with you when you write the next line. Not far away from where each of us are sitting today, there is a town about 180 miles, and now it is a National Historic Park, and it's called Allensworth Town. In 1908, Colonel Allensworth was the first African-American founder of an all-colored community here in California. He dreamed of building a community where colored people could have their own land, their houses, their food, their stores, their hotels, their churches, everything that they needed, they could provide for themselves. The community worked together through faith and dedication. They believed that hard work would provide them their human rights and a piece of the American dream. But the question resonates. When I went there, I sat in awe. How did a man, Allensworth, move out into a remote community? There was nothing there but dirt and weeds. It's probably one of the hottest parts of Central California that there is, and there was nothing there. But he found out that there was a water line and there was a train that rode right through their community. He started purchasing that land. How did he do it? To have people be able to survive and support themselves. When he was a young boy and he was getting ready to leave home, like many of you have done or already you're preparing to do. And some of you have been gone from home, you're married, you have children. Some of you are re-entering back into the school system because you want to learn more. We never, ever stop learning. No matter where we are in our lives, we're always reading a book. We're always reading and engaging in the news. We want to find out what's going on. Well, as he was preparing to leave home, his mother dug into her bosom. And for those of you that haven't heard that terminology, a term, Southern term, she dug into her bosom, in her bra, and she pulled out a handkerchief. And in that handkerchief, she had a coin. And she said to her son, I need you to listen and listen well. And I'm asking each one of you today to listen and listen well. She said, with this coin, and I share this story everywhere I go. I don't want to forget it. It's probably one of the most impactful things I have ever heard, and I'm trying to use it every day. She said, son, with this coin, I want you to buy a comb, and a book. Isn't that a weird thing to tell a young man getting ready to leave home? I can understand buying a book, but she told him to buy a comb and a book. And she said, with this comb, I want you to comb out every negative word in your mind. I want you to comb out words that discourage you and tear you down. I want you to comb out every negative, evil eye that you've ever seen. Comb out negative thoughts that you buried in your mind and your spirit. Because each one of us here today, we have buried something in us that we deal with individually by ourselves. But there is a community of support here today. So we invite you to remember that. Don't go through it alone. Comb it out and let's deal with it. She told him, I want you to comb out the people who said things are impossible for you. Comb out the beliefs that don't carry you to your dreams and vision. Comb out everything that does not serve you well. And then she went to the book and she said, I want you to read every book that you can. I want you to read books to dream. I want you to read books to travel. I want you to read books for better places, for better people. Read books to fill your mind with possibilities. Read books to open your eyes to see opportunities that were once blinded to you. Read books to travel the world. I'm certain that all of you know that some of you may never get to go across the world. We may never get to go to different places. But if you read a book, you can travel there. You can talk about it and experience through the gift of reading. Yes, a book and a comb will take you to new places and new horizons. My job here today will be done in just a few moments. But I came to give you a pen, a powerful pen. And I need each of you today, as you're here, to write the next line. And I know you probably are thinking, Dr. James, what should I write? Where do I start? Well, I started writing my own story. And as I was writing my story, I went, man, you're full of excuses. You have an excuse for a whole lot of things. I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that. They dropped me off on a dirt road. He drove away in a car. I remember that. I was only 2 years old, and I can see the car going down the dirt road right now, leaving me behind. I can relive a grandmother who had 13 children, and my mother died, and when I came to her residence, she already had 8 kids at home. There were 3 bedrooms, and we all shared beds. I remember my sister running away at 11 and never coming back home. I remember my baby brother drowning in the river. I remember those things. He was my very best friend. So I had to live through those things. So deciding to write the next line of my life was a challenge. But I tell you what, when you sit down to write your next line, my pen took me back to great fond memories in my mind and in my heart. I had the most wonderful upbringing that any child could have. We had enough food. We had enough love. We had enough blankets. I had a community. I was safe. So my pen took me back to those memories that I could share with other people to say, don't always look for that negative thing in your life. Yes, some things happened in your life. It is true they were not good. They were painful. And we lived through them, and you survived to today. My pen made me face some realities of my past. I had to look back at my past and say, because I made poor decisions. One, I'll share with you, when I was going to college as a young girl, they offered me credit cards. Anybody been offered credit cards? And the answer is no. When they offer you the cards, the answer is because you have a future. You have a goal that you want to reach. And I got credit cards when I was going to college. And I tell you, I don't know if you all even remember some of these stores, but Mervyn's. Yep. Remember Mervyn's, Montgomery Ward's, J.C. Penney's? They were giving out free cards. And I would just trudge through all those stores buying all this stuff. And one day the mailman showed up. Any idea what he might have brought with him? Something that said, this is due in a few days. And I thought, what's due? And then I looked behind me and I saw all the things that I had purchased in my moment of wanting and desiring to be like or to have all of these things. They cost me. and they cost me a lot. Cost me a couple of years of having to work a little bit longer to pay those things because I wanted to keep my commitment and my word to pay my debt. So my pen made me face some realities. My pen gave me permission to put a period where there were run-on sentences. There are places in our lives that we can't figure out. There are places in our life that when you turn around and you look at it, you're trying to figure out the how and the why and the what. You know, I sat down with my pen and I put a period. That's over. I'm done with it. I'm not going to let this continue to run in my mind. How many of you stay awake at night because your mind is just twirling and twirling and you can't figure out what's going on? You got too much LED light. You got the green light. You got the blue light. And all night long, your phone is ding, 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 and you're trying to see what everyone else is doing in the world. Let your pen put a period so that you can work hard to become the person that you want to be. You can work hard. You'll be ready in the morning. You will be bright and alert. I took the opportunity to talk to several of you this morning, and I asked you, are you morning people? Because see, I'm a morning girl. I get up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, and I think the world is great. And actually, you late people bother me because you slow me down. I want to just go have fun at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. But on the other end, at 7 o'clock at night, I'm done. I don't want you to talk to me. I don't want the world to wake up. I don't want anybody to enjoy. I want everything off because my day is over. So we have to learn what works best for you. Remember your conclusion. What works best for you? What evidence are you going to use to understand that if I'm going to meet my goals, if I'm going to be the great person that the world is waiting for, where are you willing to put a period so that you can go on your journey? My pen also helped me to put exclamation marks in places that were important to me, who made me who I am today. I want to remember those things. I never want to forget the touch of my big mama. I don't ever want to forget eating red beans and rice every week. I thought we were poor. Every Sunday was the best dinner of the week. Anybody have Sunday dinners? Aren't they wonderful? If you don't have them, start a tradition of some day of the week that you just cook all this food and invite everybody over. Sundays, my house was full. I didn't even know who the people were at my house because Big Mama cooked for everybody on Sunday. And I said to myself, I'm not eating any more red beans and rice when I grow up and get a job. I am sick of red beans and rice. And I was going to school, and I went to Los Angeles, California to visit, and they took me to a restaurant called M&M's. And on the menu, top of the menu, their featured meal for the week, red beans and rice, $9.95. I thought, you're kidding me. $9.95, that's for rich people. That's where I began to change my mind and see it a little bit differently. Red beans and rice weren't bad after all. People were paying money for red beans and rice. You've got to learn to put an exclamation mark on areas of your life that you don't want to forget. They were great times. They served you well. They get you to your next place in life that you want to go. Remember those. Embrace them. But let's comb out that other stuff that's holding us back. Let's get rid of those things that you're angry about, that you're mad about, that you want to even get even about. That little girl I shared with you a few moments ago, she learned to fight. And I was not the one that you wanted to meet, because I made sure that was my language of choice. You did what? You said what? I'll take care of that. I can handle that. But I came to a place on my journey that I had to learn that fighting was no longer the way to do it. You have to learn how to fight. We can fight through our education. We can fight through our books. We can find our voice that serves us well. Those are the things that you want to remember and hold on to. For the people who abandoned us, for the people who left us, we have to just say, that's their journey, and this is mine, and I'm going to be great. Are you all there? Are you ready to let go of some of those things that you're holding on to? You're ready to write your own next line? That's what I want to encourage you to do today. My pen also helped me to underline some areas of my life that I will never allow to happen to me again. I won't do those things again, and no one's ever going to do that to me again. I can't control if someone walks. I've been married for 43 years. Give it up. Good long time. That's my son in the back. He's 40, and my daughter over here is 38. These are my children. I went through this. Everything I'm sharing with you, I understand mothers that are sitting here today that you're re-engaging in school. A lot of you told me when I was out talking to you, I said, are you mourning? You said, I got to be. I got 2 kids. I got to get up. I got these kids. I got to do this. I've been there. I understand this. I went to school for 10 years to get my doctorate degree when my kids were going to school. When they were studying, I was studying. When they went to bed after I helped them, I had to get up at midnight and study my work. You can do it, but you have to be willing to dismantle what you believe. You have to be willing to say, I can do this. And it's a struggle. It really is. But don't doubt yourself. Don't believe what other people say. But underline those things that you're not going to do again. Underline the things that you're not going to allow people to do. Now, allow people to do means you give permission to. I can do nothing to you that you don't give me permission to do. Stop giving permission to people to write the next line. The pen is in your hand. And it says, finally, no more excuses. No more excuses about what's happening to you. You take that pen and you write the next line for your life. There are places in my life that I can't figure out. Like, why would an 11-year-old girl run away from home and at 15 get pregnant and later have 6 kids? That was my sister. That has bothered me. I'm 60, almost 64 years old, and that bothers me all these years later. Why would an 11-year-old girl run away from home, great family, great love, and go live a life that just didn't make any sense? That's a question mark for me in my mind. I allowed my pen to cross that out. It is what it is. I can't change it. I can't fix it. I can't do anything about it. So my pen, in every area of my life where there was a question mark, I crossed it out. And you know what I said to it? All is well. All is well. You have to learn how to calm your own self. When your inner critic speaks up and starts giving you doubt and showing you areas of other people's failures in their life, and it could happen to you, go ahead and cross it out and say, all is well. All is well. Understand this, that not everything that you've gone through serves you well. Everything is not serving you well. And you have the opportunity today through great conferences like this, people who provide you excellence. I believe in excellence. I love excellence. And today I saw that delivered to you. So you have the opportunity to grab that spirit and say, this is what I'm going to do next on my journey. Only use those things that serve a purpose. And I also want to follow up with that to say to you, everything that's happened to you in your life served a purpose. I want you to let that resonate through your mind. Shake yourself just a few moments. Everything that's happened to you in your life served a purpose. And I say, really? You think it does? Do you understand the tears in my life? Do I also understand that there's been some dark, hopeless moments in your lives? Unbelievable bad days. And you know, a bad day is a bad day, right? Just a bad day. But a bad week, it starts kind of wearing on you. And then after a bad week, you have a bad month. You're looking for, when does life get better? And then before you know it, you've had a bad year. I understand that. So when I say to you, right, I know that there are some areas that you're struggling with. I know that you've cried tears that no one else knows about. And I say to you, I know that everything in your life has a purpose. The scars, we bear scars of what happened in our past. And I am saying to you, carefully and cautiously, yes, everything that has happened to you can serve a purpose. Everything that I went through has served a purpose in my life. The purpose it served was I learned how strong I am. Each of you sitting here right now, you've got to find your strength. You got to find what serves you the best. I learned that I am strong. I am determined. I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor. I made it, struggles and all. But I picked up my pen and I wrote the next line. Each of you sitting here today, like me, you have a story. And there is a world waiting to hear your story. There's a little girl sitting somewhere and she's crying. She's hopeless and she doesn't see a way out. But she's waiting for each one of you women sitting here today to write the next line, to tell her that she can rise up. She can rise up and be strong, that she can survive. You have a sister friend, I promise you, right in this room, you have sister friends in your community that are waiting for you to write your story. They don't believe that they can be successful. They don't believe that they can reach their goals. Some of you may be just going through the motion, that you just had to be here. Whatever the circumstances might be, there is a woman in this room right now that is waiting for someone else to write the next line, giving her hope, giving her courage, giving her strength that she can make it to tomorrow. So really, what can you write? Write and tell them that this is hard and it takes work and determination. When you write your story, tell them that they have to have guts to get through their pain, to deal with where they are in their lives. How many of you have learned the word no when all your friends are saying yes, they're going to go party? How many of you have learned the word no? When everyone else is saying, let's go party tonight, you're saying, no, I have to study. I have to be successful. I have a test. Sometimes, that's exactly right. Thank you for that. Because when we really acknowledge what the truths are in our life and we write our story, we can say, I struggled. I went and partied, so the next day I flunked the test. You have to make those decisions. In your playing field today, I asked you to pick 5 qualities. You have to decide who you're going to show up and say, no, I'm not going to the party. I want to pass my test. I want to be different. I want to make that change. You can also write in your story, tell them to read books. Tell them to pick up a comb. When your sister friend is talking to you and she's saying all of these negative things or what people said to her, what came in the mail, you can tell a girl, you need to get a comb. You need to let's comb out some of this stuff that's going on in your life. Don't accept words like Dr. Maya Angelou said. Just don't let people speak anything into your life. Stop people when you hear them coming out with negative things. Tell them I'm not going to receive that into my spirit. I am going to be great. I'm not making any excuses because I'm writing my own next line. Tell them to get up. I told my children this. And I still tell them that today when they're going through struggles. They're grown, they have their own kids. I have 9 grandkids. I know about all the struggles and pains that happen in each one of our lives because I've lived through it already. And this is what I tell everyone, get up. Take a hot bath. Soak in it for a long time. I don't know about the rest of you, but I love Calgon. So when I was a little, they don't advertise Calgon like they used to. When I was a little girl, they used to sell Calgon in just the box, and it was pretty much the only thing on the shelf at Walmart and Target. So I'd run to the store and I'd get a box of Calgon, and it was big, pretty crystals. It only cost like $2. Now Calgon is in a bottle, and it's all these different things. That one doesn't impress me. I still want Calgon in the box because I got a connection. We had a lot of conversations together. And I would put it in the tub, and I would fill it up with hot water, and I would soak in that tub, and I would cry. And I would say, I don't know why life is doing this to me. I don't understand when my sister said this to me. I don't know why the teacher is requiring all this. I don't know why my kids won't behave properly. I don't know why my husband is acting like this. Calgon took me away. I didn't have to deal with anything else. I would just soak in there for a few moments. So I say to each one of you today, get up, take a hot bath, cry your tears, dry yourself off. Get dressed, and whatever you put on, walk in it proudly. Say, this is who I am today. This is how I'm showing up. I am going to be great. I'm going to walk in the things that are for me because I have a pen in my hand, and I am going to write the next line. And I want each of you, when you open your door after you get out of the tub and you're dressed and you're ready to go, I want you to say to the world, watch out. Watch out. I got up today, and I got a pen, and I'm ready to write the next line. Finally, No more excuses. There are no excuses for you all today. You are destined for greatness, but you have to be willing to join on this journey. You have to be willing to join on this journey. How many of you are willing to write the next line? If you're willing to write the next line, just stand up with me. And I don't want you to stand if you're not willing to write the next line. I don't want you to stand up unless you're willing to write the next line. So what is writing the next line? I'm not talking about writing a book, which, by the way, all of you will get the book today. I'll be around if you want me to sign it for you later. I'll sign it, be happy to. But I'm not talking about writing a book. I'm talking about putting one foot before the other. And I'm going to just kind of walk up here unplanned. Writing the next line means I'm here. I'm ready. I'm engaged. I'm involved. I am going to change the world. That is writing the next line. It means that you are faithfully committed to learning and changing everything around you. Don't change the person on your left. Don't change the person on your right. You only need to write the next line in your life. And what you write will then begin to change the person on your right and the person on your left. So thank you for this opportunity today to share with each and every one of you. I hope you use that pen and that you remember that you too can write the next line. Thank you very much. Any questions before I sit down? We have a few moments. Anyone triggered by any thoughts, any questions? Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I was thinking about what you had said, and it's just a thought. I have been going through a lot of things. I have a few disabilities, but when you said write that next line, I sat here telling myself, despite these disabilities and how they're trying to break me down, this is not the end of my story.
Woo-hoo.
So I have another line to write. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Did everyone hear that?
Step down.
Struggles and challenges in her life, but as she sat and began to ponder, she said, I have another line to write. This is not my end. Yes?
So it's actually a question for you. Despite what you've gone through.
Excuse me, y'all. Speak into the mic.
Okay, thank you.
And could you stand up so others can
Christina.
hear you and see you? Thank you.
Despite what you've gone through, what motivates you to empower others?
Despite what I have gone through, what motivates me to help others? There is an old saying that people would say is, why reinvent the wheel? I don't believe that you need to go through something that I've already been through that can help you. So I believe, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, and they're going to give away free tickets today for a 1-hour session. I believe in my heart that I was born to do this. So I know that when I see my sister friend, what motivates me to her is say, do you know that you can be great? Do you know that there's more? Let's talk together. And as we talk together, it motivates me to say there are greater opportunities for you. Are you willing to embrace them? That motivates me. When I walked in the room and I saw all of you coming in today, and I began to walk around and scan and look at each and every one of you, my heart got comforted because I said the future is in good hands. It's in good hands. That motivates me to want to contribute to your journey. Another question?
So my question is, how do we try to get these negative thoughts and concepts out of our minds? You know, when we are trying, and then we just have this, or someone just, say something that just makes you like, well, I'm trying my best, and you make it like I'm trying, but you don't see, I see it in me, but you don't see it in me. And it, kind of brings you to the point where you're like going down. How do you overcome those
Great question. The question is, how do you overcome barriers in life and when other people are speaking negative things into your life? So thank you for sharing that. One thing I would say is buy a comb. Buy you a comb. And then you said a word that I really want to work on. She said, I see it in me, but they don't see it in me. I want you to live in the world of I see it in me. I don't need you to see it in me. I don't need you to approve and validate the greatness within me, because the greatness within me. I was born with this. So when other people are speaking to you, and your other question was, how do you wipe away the negative things in your life? Well, I can't wipe away what happened to me when I was young. I can't get rid of those negative things. But what I can do is not feed them. What I can do is not hold them in my heart as the next step that I'm going to go on. I say to them, thank you. How many of you have ever heard of, we don't have that much more time, but how many of you have ever heard of monkey mind? Monkey mind is a tool, I'm going to use a tool, that our mind uses to remind us of what has happened and what's going on. And for all of you sitting here today, you have so much monkey mind. It's called Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that gram, this gram, somebody yelling in your ear, another person yelling in your ear, and the monkey is constantly reminding us that there is something happening. There is something happening. You're walking into a situation that's not going to serve you well, and all these things are going on in your mind. What you have to do is literally say to the monkey, thank you for that information, but that one I'm not going to deal with. That one, that negative that's in my mind all the time of people telling me what I can't be or what I can't do, I'm going to dismiss it and say, I acknowledge that that was real. I know that he slapped me. I know that my mother threw me on the road. I know that my stepfather threw me on the road. I know that my mother died when I was 2. Thank you for that information, but I'm still going to continue on my journey. Acknowledge what has happened to you. Just don't feed it. Yes. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
So I got, you said underline the things that I'm not going to do and no more excuses for today. That really stood out to me because I've been going through things since I was 5 years old, and still, like I'm 40 now, and still sometimes it hinders me. Being a teenage mother, then being a single parent of 4 children, I've been through a lot of my life, and people saying that I can't do it, and me just overcoming it and being a stronger woman to be a role model for my children. And not giving up. Like, my children is the one that kept me going, and like, 2 of them are grown, and I just look back at them because they're great boys, and like, I raised them, so I'm like, sometimes that hinders me, my past, but I know that I'm a stronger woman on today. So when you said those 2 statements, it really empowered me.
Wonderful.
I just thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much. I can share this one thing that she was saying. She feels empowered, and that was one of my qualities of being today, playing in the playing field with you all. I can remember when I was in high school, I was a terror. I was a terror. So much so that when I was invited back to Chico, California to speak in the community of which I'm from, people came and said, we're looking for Kathy Maccabee. I said, I'm her. And they said, that's impossible. That hinders my mind sometimes when I think about I was a terror. And people came just to see if it was true. And when I stood before all those people and I shared with them my apologies for my poor behavior, I said to people, I am sorry that I touched you when I was a young girl. I hit you. I'm sorry for that. Forgive me. I need you today to forgive yourself of your past. Forgive yourself of decisions that you made in your past and embrace where you are today. You have an entire community here. You have educators and professors and people, counselors who are working to say to you that that's not the end of your story. You can write the next line. Thank you.
Sorry, the microphone died, so you can just stand up and make sure your voice.
You tell me when it's time. Go ahead, hon.
So you mentioned like your family and like the struggles that you overcame with them. So I kind of experienced the same thing like with my dad.
Mhm.
He like continuously like he left when I was 4, and then he'll come in and out of my life every so often, like every few years. And it's like, how do you ignore something like that, where it's like somebody who you're in a sense longing for, but you know isn't good for you?
Wow, great question. Thank you very much. And I feel the pain, so thank you. Her question is, what do you do when someone abandons you and you still want them? You still need them? I say to you, acknowledge the feelings. They're true. They're happening. And the times that you do get with him, enjoy them. Forgive him for not being able to meet the needs that you have. There's a principle called the 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule, that 20% of the people, 5 minutes, do 80% of the work. And I apply this to people. People give you 100% of themselves 80% of the time. But the 20% that you need the most, they're incapable of giving you. So what should you do to fulfill that 20%? Look within yourself and reach out to others. Look within yourself, and the very thing that you're needing and the very thing that you're wanting, give it to someone else. Make sure that you're fulfilled by giving back out. And whatever that person does give you, enjoy it in the moment. Does it feel good? No. Are we sad? Yes. I'm sad for the times that I missed with my family. My sister is 65 years old, and she's still sitting in Southern California alone. She doesn't want to talk to me because she feels guilty. She feels bad. My job is to embrace her, to love her. I send her cards. I call her. When I go to her area, I go visit her. She's incapable of giving me any more than what she has. I accept what she provides. One last question? Yes. Oh, I will get to you. I will. Yes.
I just wanted to say, from just being the age that I've gotten, I'm in my 40s and I have children and I have a family and I've been through things, you know, as all women have. But you know, the one thing I've learned, you have to forgive people. People will throw punches at you. It's crazy. And even if they don't ask you to forgive them, you have to.
Right. Right.
It's real.
It's real.
Said that when you were little, you have to forgive people.
Right.
Jesus will forgive you, whatever, you know, everybody, you know, that you have to learn how to forgive people.
Right.
They don't mean it. They have their hurt. And that's true. It used to be what, like a, you know, like kind of a joke, hurt people, hurt people.
It's not a joke. That's real.
Well, people make fun of that statement, but it's true.
But it's true.
You have to forgive them.
Yeah, and this one thing, just let me take her one question, would you please? And this one thing I want to say to this is that forgiveness is real. The brain exercise I gave you, go home and rewrite that out. And your conclusion is the person's name, what's your evidence? Walk yourself back through that so you can release yourself of those areas and really forgive people and tell them you forgive them when you get an opportunity. It will free you. Last question right here.
It's not really a question.
Okay.
I just want to thank you because you asked me if you could hug me. This week alone, I've been here. I'm going to be here 7 days a week, from 9 in the morning till 10:30 at night. People tell me I spend too much time at school, but there's a reason why I'm here. I'm trying to get to Tyler Perry Studios. So I just want to thank you for hugging me.
You're welcome. And everyone, try and touch somebody every day. Most of you will notice that I came to your tables and I tried to touch you and embrace you because I know that makes a difference. I want you to know that you have a community that's here to serve you. And thank you very much again for sharing. And I hope you get to that studio because I will buy tickets to come see you. Thank you very much.